Resources?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I've been going straight to verbs.
And it's a little ways down. It's carried.
Okay.
There's two of these.
Neyakwihi, wasas yetis te kat yuhan,
It's carried.
twasa hikem. Twasa chat uti, twasa chat uti. Yak twasagu yin kachonig yada. Yas te katwe ichti de yichu uwu, kakwa ak yiji de ach, yat ach aya, ak kwasawu, yak aya natasahini, Aku aye awaka nadashahini ka tagish hastu jidach ayayata yis yuch atang Tlingit chenach hastu eat the shi a keyishi tage ka laus kla yata aya yijiyes khwaleyech dach aku a chayik genki kwakt yech wasani ko So, hey gang. So I'm going to try to send this out to those of you who are online. So we'll see how this whole thing goes. I think I have all your addresses. And so these are little gifts. This is a new phrase book created by the Carcross Tagish First Nation with fluent speakers Keyishe, Yisukuke Koa Dasawe, Wasa Duasakhu, Gleitchach Enach Bessie Cooley, Dage, Yisukuksha,
Is that Winnie?
Winnie Atlin, Yake, Shaus Kla,
Ida.
Ida Kalmegan, Ye Awe. So it's a phrase book. There's all kinds of things in here. And the one thing I would note is there's an L with an underline, and that is a voiced L. On the coast, nowadays, we write that as an N with an underline. The reason we write it like that is because on the coast, we know of a couple speakers, like in the case of ʼaan. We know some speakers, they're not around anymore, but they would say ʼuhal. And so, but in Teslin, the speakers are usually using that to substitute the English R sound. So when, and it's interesting because sometimes Haida does that. Like there's a thing called rum. And so rum, once in Haida becomes lum. And then when I think Tlingits who are on the coast hear that, they say now. It's kind of, it seems to come from the same word. But there is, so like, do you want a ride? Some of the old speakers in Teslin would say, lied gei tuasagu. So ride would become lied. So you'll see that in there. Fun stuff. And then this one is the pronoun chart, which I looked at so carefully, and I still didn't catch a couple of errors. So I'll explain them to you. I don't think you need to mark on it, but you can if you want to. I'll make new ones. They're not that expensive. So what we do here, what does this hyphen show you on this chart?
It's attached.
It attaches, and none of the possessives attach, so that should not be there.
Oh.
So there's mistake number one. There's also some contractions that aren't in here. There's a pretty rare one, which is sometimes if a word ends with a vowel, and then the next one is going to be husdu for there. Some really old speakers that we've recorded will hear them say stu. Ye awestu tla. And that means ye away husdu tla. But that's a pretty rare thing. But you will hear that in the verbs. That's where you hear it more commonly. The other whoopsies. For ka, that one does not attach to the verb on the object. That's written as its own word. Ka. When is it ka and when is it k? Did we go over that?
Advanced, we did.
Okay. So if you're going to say it happens to people, or you say people are strong, it seems to me the pattern is it's k, unless there's already a k on the verb, or if we know there is a k type of verb like that that has to do with weather. For example, yak-a, when you put k on front of it, that means good weather, kuwak-a. So to say people are good, you'd say ka-yak-a. So that's kind of, there's a few steps to that. It's k, unless the verb already has k, like kudzati, to exist. Ka kudzati, people exist. Or if we know there's a weather verb, which is, there's a few of them. Kusiat, which people to be cold is a totally different, it's a different verb anyways. Kuwata, that's also a different verb, I guess, unless you're cooking them, right?
Oh.
And then, yeah, I guess there's a couple others. But, you know, so anyways, it's a little bit of a rare thing. And then that last one was under this SH, under the possessive, there should not be a hyphen there as well. So when you say, you could say chush tu, which is inside yourself. And there's some unfriendly things you could say after that if you want. Well, it becomes unfriendly if you say it. I guess it's kind of holidays. We don't need to learn how to say go blank yourself. So unless you want to know. Chushtu idishi, that's how you say it. I won't tell you. It just means go touch inside yourself. So my Uncle Johnny used to say that one and just laugh at us. And actually, he used to have a lot of fun. And some people like to have a lot of fun in the language, but don't go getting yourself in trouble because I told you how to say this stuff. Although one time I walked up and he said that to me, and I was like, I don't want to. And then he kept saying it to everybody he met. And he was this elder that worked on this project. I love him so much. He was so fun. But he had translated this play, and people met him, and they were just, so nice to meet you. And it's a chushtu idishi, and it's a ganachish. I'm like, don't thank him for that. And he'd say it to someone else, and I'd say, oh, that's one of my lines in the play. I was like, that's not one of your lines in the play. Don't say that. So, but this SH, we do see this when you say shtu before a verb. Shtu is inside of the self, right? So you could say shtu chaltu. So that comes from chush tu chaltu. I'm teaching it inside of myself. That's how we talk about studying and stuff. So, any language questions? This is the last week of big language questions for a while. You do your presentations. Just do your presentations, and then we fly out into the universe.
Oh. I noticed that the dock are using the coastal.
Yes, every inland community has voted, and I've been trying to say the Dauenhower orthography to try and not get us into this coast versus inland. So I'm just trying to say the Dauenhower and the Lear orthographies. So there's a few folks who are holding on, some of them because they want to, some of them because they don't know how to write in the Dauenhower method yet.
I said that it was Dauenhower in Una one time and got a lot of flack.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I haven't figured it out because I've been trying to come up with these terms to just try and get some unity, and then we end up fighting about that kind of stuff. But they're shifting. So all of their materials from this point forward, unless they don't know how, will be in the coastal. And so Teslin was the last one. It was a bit of a challenge. But even when they have their, and so these are some things that are interesting as language learners. I'll just put this up on the screen so everybody can see it. So there used to be this, well, there still is, but they called it, I don't even know how they did it. Something, I can't remember how they spelled it, right? But they were spelling it something like this. And so as you see people use the language, one of the things that I'm hoping is that we develop a more formal process. That way if someone's going to get something, put the language out on the land somehow, that we've got a good process to go through so that it's not out there with some kind of error on it. Because, that's people who don't want to acknowledge indigenous languages for whatever reason are always looking for some reason not to. Oh, like I was going to go on the radio for something, and I think it was with you, Jacques, and there was someone there from like the Audubon Society, and we were just making conversation. I said, it'd be neat, it would be like a bird book. We've got the picture of the bird, and and then we get the Tlingit name, and then they could make notes, and we get the common name and the scientific name or whatever. And the guy was like super dismissive. He's like, we tried that, but nobody could agree on the dialect, so, And I was like, no, man, I just said we should. I was like, don't rain on my idea, but I think people are looking for reasons not to do things. Not like sometimes deliberately and sometimes not, but. So anyway, I think this year I saw their new logo, and it's going to be, oops, not that. Hakusti. And so it's good for us to come to agreement, I think, on how we're going to write this stuff, how we're going to use this stuff, come to get a good process together, say, hey, we're going to put this on shirts. Can you take a look at it? Hey, we're going to put this on, is the logo for the new business. This is the name for the business. And then to move away from I tend to push back on, people like to use the language, which is great, but then sometimes, they're like, hey, can you name the cafeteria? How do you say lakeside? I was like, well, I would say ach ayach atchadakahiti. And they said, that's too long. And it's too hard. I'm like, well, so's Morant, and so, and I said, just call everything hit. So sometimes I get grumpy, but.
Back to the Huna.
Mm-hmm.
What they were objecting to was that that Dow and Howerson started, that somebody from there, and maybe there was a thing happened in Sitka, and they got together and they decided on an orthography, and then the Dow and Howers made some adjustments to that. But I think they made adjustments to Nation Story.
Yeah, it was Nation Story they made that one, and then it was adopted from, because he had like Swanton and Emmons, and then De Laguna, and then they're using like phonetic alphabet type stuff, and then somewhat, and then Nation Story, and then Dowenhower, and then Lear introduced the Lear-Ritter system, and so maybe we just need to start calling it the Tlingit orthography.
The real one.
And just say,
The right one.
I said the original, and then they got mad at me, and that's okay, fine.
Or the common orthography means it's the one in most use.
Right, we'll just say this is the official orthography, because as far as I know, no indigenous government, no Tlingit government has voted to use the other one at this point. So we'd say, I think we'll call it official, maybe?
Standard?
Yeah, standard. Yeah, because it's standardization is what it is. So, yeah, let's just say the standard.
Yeah.
Adikshahitiye. The way that adikdushhitiye. The way that people write.
Could we run through the postpositionals, just using them in a phrase together?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's independent, possessive, object, subject. So we've covered those, right? Independents they're not used that often. Usually call attention to who we're talking about, or just where is, there is, in these usually verbless types of phrases, right? Neshu, neshu hu, my mom's at home. Possessive to show relationship or ownership. Achtla, guchayi, or if you're in Yakutat, chashkayi. For whatever reason, like a gucha in Yakutat is like a pea pot, so they'll laugh at you and be like, drink whatever I want. And then objects are generally the ones that the verb happens to. They come first, and the subjects are the ones doing the verb. They are embedded further into the prefix right before the classifier. Then you have postpositionals, which we see most common popping up before a verb that doesn't have a true object. And so, or maybe it ends up having an indirect object. So one of the examples that we would use for this would be this verb right here, which we should know. Let me try and make this smaller. Right down here. Hold on. We'll struggle with the clicks. Okay, so here's this. Oops. And then that. Okay. So this verb, she or he told news or information. So a lot of times these postpositionals is what we call them, but they're going to come right before the verb.
I had a really hard time with that term.
Okay.
So we have prepositions in English, we don't have postposition. The preposition is it's before something.
Mhm.
And what it's before is like to the store, from the store, in the store, behind the store, okay? They're in front of a noun.
Mhm.
So aren't these postpositions after a noun? Not part of the verb, but they're after a noun?
They are after a noun, which is why they're not
That's
prepositions, they're postpositions.
But Joe, you're talking about placement
I'm saying yes, so that's a wonderful question. Okay, so why are they called postpositions? Because they come after the noun. Another term that we might use for this is what we'd call the empty base. And the reason for that is because you cannot put a suffix onto a pronoun, right? So you can't say, and so de, dach, the N, which is towards, the T, which is to arrive at. You cannot put any of those onto a pronoun. You can't put them onto a kinship term, right? So you can't say achtla de. You cannot say that. You can't say chat de. You cannot say that. So to use the de or the dach, you have to say ach I dach, ach I de, du I dach, achtla I de, right? And so this is something to just sort of, the only reason it exists in Tlingit is to put a suffix on there. It's the only reason it exists. But then we use it for some different verbs, teaching, telling. There's a few others that we'll find. So for example, so there's she or he told, and this has an object. The object is it. And the it is the information. Okay? A kawanik. She or he told it. Because if we change this to chet kawanik, now the meaning has shifted. What that means is they told on me. And it's usually in kind of a negative way. Like, well, I was just trying to steal a candy bar. I don't know what I was doing. And they told on me, right? So you usually see this as akawanik, third person object. Kakwanik, I'm going to tell it. But you're usually going to tell it to somebody, right? So how would I say, she told me? A'aan akawanik. So there's going to be the N. A'aan akawanik. She told us.
A'aan.
A'aan akawanik. She told you.
A'aan.
A'aan akawanik. She told y'all. A'aan akawanik told him or her. Du'aan akawanik. And then this one is usually a'aan. You'll pretty much always see it as on. So, and this will trick people sometimes because you'll see on and you think something with the land, but you could say ya achgukayi adachwugud on. He walked out of here with my cup. Right? So on is with it. So you'll see it sometimes when somebody is doing something with a thing. So you could say, Ya'awa awajak kayakajait in. You say that. Or say, wait, Ya kayakajait awa on awajak. This is the chair that he killed him with, right? I don't know why it's got to be so harsh. Right? Ka in with people. And then you'll see this little tilde thing here, which says that will contract sometimes. So you can also say, Khan akawanik. She or he told me. And if you get fluent speakers that are really rolling, they'll use that. There's another one I didn't put in here, which is, how do you say, help me? Eat it, right? So that one has this thing on there. Oops. But you can also say chad it. That's something you'll see the old timers doing. You'll see it in the Raven stories we have. Susie James uses that one quite a bit. Khan, you'll hear that one. There was this really neat phrase that Chagishau got, which was, what do we think that one translates to? Heshtasa kaduni. Kadunik. So here's kawanik and a kawanik, kadunik.
Ever tell me anything?
Don't tell me anything. So we would have a different form of the verb. So we would, instead of heish, we should have shish, right? So let's do a little digging around. So we go to our Tlingit verbs. We'll go down to neek. And then we see a kawanik right here. So kananik is the command form. So you could say, Khan kananik, tell me. An kaniki, all the news from town. Shishkinigik, don't tell me, right? I don't want to know the gossip about that person, or the news, whatever it is, right? Then we go down and we say, oh, there's kadunik, but it's high tone. There's klesh kadunik, right? There it is. Nobody tells about it. Nobody is telling about it. Heshta sachan kadunik.
Nobody told me.
Nobody tells me anything. So, this is one of I like this phrase because I learned how to do that. And so this heshtasa means nothing, right? But then there was the way that I learned this is we were actually we were talking a little bit. That's my uncle. We could talk about people how we want. But we weren't being the nicest. We were a little frustrated with some folks. And he speaks Tlingit. And he says, "Heshdasahas awaska." I was like, oh, that's how you would say that, right? So there was some neat things when I learned how to say that. So this is a very similar thing. We'll do like Christmas songs after this because we're going to Negativeville, which, sometimes you gotta go there. So if that one's nobody tells me anything, what would this one be?
Doesn't know anything. They don't know anything.
They don't know anything, right? And so the thing that I noticed about this is, one, how does Tlingit put the logic together? Heshdasa is nothing. But then if you say heshdasa, verb in the negative form, right? And we know this is a negative form because we'd say, ausiku, she or he knows it. But then we should say hesh awasku. And next semester we're gonna learn how to do this stuff. Move these verbs like this. This is the next step. Moving these verbs like this, then changing the subjects and objects. Because you could say I don't know anything, right? But hesh awasku, she or he doesn't know it. But what happens is the dasa pops right in there, but we know it's not necessarily nothing because the verb is the thing that's going negative. That's why I thought this phrase was so neat. One, because I was like, yeah, they don't know anything. And two, I was like, hey, that's how that works, right? I wouldn't have guessed that the verb would be the thing that goes negative at the end. But then that's why it's not anything, and instead of knows, nothing, right? Which is just slight variations, but it's good to see how the language sort of strings those things together.
So Tlingit, like many another language, has double negative, and it just is negative, like we would say they don't know nothing.
Yeah, because then the dasa kind of just becomes anything, and then the hesh just jumps over it to get to the negative of the verb.
But the verb is negative anyway.
Yeah, so I think the verb is negated, and then you don't really have hesh dasa. You just have dasa. But maybe, that's a good question.
Dasa means nothing.
Hesh dasa means nothing.
So nothing, they don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's good. Double negatives are fine.
Right.
It's just that English thinks we shouldn't have it.
Right. Just for clarity's sake.
No. This is an emphasis.
Right. Yeah, well, and so you've got it up here too. Heshdasachan kadunik. Nobody tells me anything.
I like that.
Right. So if you're like, did you hear what happened? And I'm like, Heshdasachan kadunik. And then I glare at them. Okay. Any other language questions?
Could you please repeat the phrase where you used on?
Yeah. So this story we were reading yesterday, ʼaan, right? It's pretty short. I think we could probably read it in here. Let's see if I can find it. So in this, this was something we worked in and Advanced Tlingit worked on, and we just did kind of a line-by-line translation. So I grabbed these 3 versions of this one story, and I kind of did a mix-up or a mash-up, whatever they call it, so we can have one version of this story. And so we'll see it towards the end. We'll see a number of different things here that are pretty fun. So we'll do a little bit of longer forms of Tlingit. Everybody repeat after me. ʼaan qashaqu ittachawe. ʼaan qashaqu is the flood of the world. Ittach is after it. Aweh, right? Yeah, this flood after it, that is. Kesh ayah dasa iti yewuti. Oops, sorry.
It needs to be a paler
Yeah, I won't highlight. Heshtasa a iti yewuti. So klesh aya, so that's interesting, right? Dasa, so nothing. Ite, ite means like what's left after it, or in its imprint, its remains. There's a bunch of different uses for that word. If I ate a bunch of food and left and there was crumbs there, atcha ite. If I built a fire and the earth was charred, gun ite, the place where the fire was. If I walked along the fresh snow, ach us ite, the place where my feet were, footprints.
What about the word inu?
Inu is just leftovers. I don't think it's related. But it's a similar type, it's like specifically food you take home, usually from a ku'ik. But ite, like you could say, like if my uncle was supposed to come here and give a speech, and he called, he says, I can't make it, you have to go give that speech. You might say, ach kak ite yidat, I'm standing in place of my uncle, right? Because he was supposed to be here and he's not. Yewuti, so in after it, nothing was left in its remains. Yashingit anikach. So that long kach on the world, and it's interesting because you get on the world, shingit ani tukwani, the people of the world, but they're inside of the world. I've heard shingit ani qeich, which is between the folds of the world. So
I thought the high tone was on the A's.
right there.
Yeah.
No, because you've got on like land, and so but this is interesting because if you had without the apostrophe shingit ani, that means Tlingit country,
Yeah.
Tlingit territory. But when you have shingit ani, that's the world. Chachdekat et kwa akaye wuti. So shtekatat is everything, and chashtekatat is every single thing. Kwa, you'll hear as ku'a, which could mean a number of different things. It could mean although, it could mean pay attention to this one, right? And then when fluent speakers are talking, they'll say kwa quite a bit. Akaye wuti, on it. Yachan, this fire. Kesh ayachan atuye utiyin ya'as. So kesh ayah, so not. Chan, atu, inside of it. Ye utiyin. In this case, klesh and ye utiyin are combining. So you can have the klesh and then have some other stuff, and you can still jump over those things and negate the verb. So in this case, it used to not exist. So this is a negative form of the verb yati, but it also has this decessive suffix, which means it's no longer that way. So you could say, achchi ye wutiyin, I used to have it, but now I don't. You say, kesh achchi ye utiyin, I used to not have it, but now I do. Right? So that used to not be in, the fire used to not be in the trees. And so we look at how the word order works for Tlingit. Not, aya, fire, inside it. It's used to not be there, this tree or trees. Kayawask. And the bushes. So we have what's is a bush, and then wask is bushes. So it's interesting because the tree doesn't have to pluralize, but he prefers to pluralize the brush. Keshtasa ach akugan. So keshtasa, we get that nothing again. Ach would be at that place. So we're going back to the world. Akugan. It's not burning. Nothing burned there. Okay. Kunach. Kushachetchen. Achu ayakach datin. Kunach is really. Kushachetchen is scary. Achu, among it. Ayakach datin. It's a pretty complicated verb, but when it combines with this other stuff, it means when it's stormy. Wait tokaye. So it's a rocky point or a rocky peninsula. At daqin awa. Yan daqin awa tle Yéil. Anyanachla asks, is that kach the same verb as crying? Yeah, it's a really good question, but we see datin here, datin. That shows us where the verb root is. So this teen, and actually this is t, is the verb root. Dati, like ayaw dati, is how we've usually heard this verb. Ayakach datin. It's like there's a bunch of stuff that's getting activated in the middle of that verb to just sort of say when this verb is happening. It's a pretty advanced form, but then eventually we'll get to a spot where we'll say, ayakach datin. Was it teen? And then once you figure out that maybe it isn't, you'll recognize there's the ya, and we usually got ow right here, ayaw, ti. So we'll start to spot that stuff. I think we said, so he flew there. At daqin, he flew there. Yen daqin away, he finished flying. Raven. Kudesekak cha'ach. This is a pretty unusual verb. The verb root here is sa, but it's pretty hard to spot. And there's a few of them that have this kak at the end. We don't really know what it does. But we know that kudesekak means to catch one's breath. And it's an unusual verb. There are some verbs you'll encounter in Tlingit where you just gotta say, okay, I just gotta remember that thing because it's hard to put together. There are a bunch of things that are built into there. Nasti awe. Sakonaye uwakut. So ch'ak could mean long time ago or for a long time. We just catch it in the context. Ch'ak nasti. This is the siti verb. Once it had become a long time, sa means only then. Only after it had become a long time. Qonaye means to start doing a verb. So you could qonaye anything, right? Qonaye ka hwe khatana. I started drinking coffee. It means to start doing a verb. And we get this a lot and sort of like he was resting, catching his breath. Only after he did that for a long time did he start going. Okay? Wasakawahayi atayu. Kawahayi at literally would probably mean the thing that happens. But we see these in the Raven stories too, like why did you come here with these strange things? It's not really a nice thing to say. Why did you come here with these things that are happening, right? And so, wasakawahayi at ayu. What is that thing that's doing something? What's happening way over there? De ki de du watin. So de ki is far out to sea. We put the de on there, way out there towards that area. Duatin. It can be seen. So duatin, you could use that for certain things. And you could use a negative. Keshtutin. Keshtutini talka. We asked the elders, like, what do you call those little black flies that were in Yakutat and just kept biting us? No siams yedu asako atlet hakinach achoy heshtutini talka. Yehasayasok. That's what the elders named it in Yakutat. Because they're like, we don't know. We never heard a name for it. So they said it's the mosquito that you can't see. Anach ke akakanji. Wechan. So anach is along it. Ke akakanji. It's burning upwards. It keeps doing that. Right? So gone is the verb root. Wechan. Ayayayidat. Yudeki nach ke kakanji khan. Ayayayande asaya hey. Yayande. Ayayidat, right now. Yayidat is now. You can also say yidadi, like yidadi Tlingit. Kashdasa, right? Figure from the old school, you might say that. The Tlingits of today don't know anything, right? Yude ki nach, so way out along. So if you go out to sea, it's going along there. Ke kaganji khan, this fire that's kind of bursting up. Ke kaganji, it's flaming up like that. A'aya, ya. And so this a'aya, it's used in storytelling to say like, this is the thing. It's calling attention to it. Yande is towards the shore. Asaya hey, he wants it. He really wants this thing to happen. Yayande, towards the shore. Oetsu hate at hunt awe ukutch. Let's do this in chunks. Oetsu hate at hunt awe ukutch. So su is also I'll have to listen to it and make sure that it's not low tone. It's probably low tone.
Do you want to fix that towards
Which one?
towards the shore?
Instead of towards.
Oh, thanks. Sheesh. This was, yeah, let's see how I can do that. I'll fix it. Wait, so hate at is those ones that are kind of near him. Hunt away ukutch. He keeps going up to them. He keeps going up to all the ones that are around him, is how you would put that together. So this is something you'll see like we know ya and we and you, and we know ya do and we do and you do. So if you say yata, waita, haita, yuta, these ones, those ones, these ones here, those ones way over there. So that's how this one works. So he's going around asking all these things that are near him, the ones near him. Nay. Nay. So we just translate it as like hey, because we'll hear it in different, and that's how it's being used in the story. There's a whole bunch of these little interjections like hey and wow and whoa and things like that. Yudekidek shedakidakin. Maybe you'll fly way out to sea. Yuchan achinach yan yasagik. Yeah. So Yuchan, that fire over there. Achinach, through my possession, along my possession. It's really interesting because you'll usually hear jeet. Achjeet te, give it to me. Achjeet kate, give me the round thing, right? And so in this case, along my possession, yan yesayik would be to bring it over, to drag it over, to lift it over. ʼaan ayu, udekinach, hey kagunch. Fire is bursting up way out to sea. Hada kesh ade. Hada, you'll hear hada, hadla, hado. It's just like, geez. It just depends. Like, how do you translate these things? It's always interesting. And then kesh ade on its own means no way, no way. And so you might see this pop onto other verbs, and the verb gets really long, and it means there's no way she or he could do that verb. For example, like sleep. Ta. That's how you say she or he is sleeping. Wuta. She or he was sleeping. Kesh ade unqatayiye. She or he cannot sleep. So once you get into the can't, it gets pretty long. But then there's some other unqata. Maybe she or he will sleep. Okay. Kashach tuwa ushka. Payu yandisqich. So I don't want to. Then that's what people kept saying, right? It kept being said to him, right? And we know it's said to him because there's these two verbs, yawaka, which means she or he said, yawsika, she or he said to him. Okay. Wananesawe. Hawk hunt uwagut. Oops. Kak. I don't know why I said that. Wananesawe is at some point. So we use this a lot in storytelling to say like, time shift, we're jumping to this other thing. And then kak is usually how we say it, but we got the little thing at the end. Kak hunt uwagut. He came up to this little owl. Aya kak aya. Duslu aya yayat. Shugunach. This owl, it's the owl without the tufts. I think a boreal owl. His beak or nose, it's the same word in Tlingit, so I always call it a bird nose, but it's a beak, or maybe I have a beak, I don't know. Yayat, it's long. Shugunach is originally or in the beginning. Shugunach. Yakak. Awaye adane. This is Raven's working on it, right? So this is, when you're getting into the Raven stories, you're going to get these common themes. Like, once they say that, you're like, he's going to get them, right? That's what's going to happen. Yep. You ashute away. So towards his nose or his beak. Akausachat with teishku'a. Akausachat means to attach two things together. With teish. Teish can be an old torch like they used to use a long time ago, or it's dried up pitch wood. Yagunch yateicha. So yagunch would mean it really burns. Yateicha. So if you want to say yagunch, that means like it's flammable. Yaguncha we konach we uchkakanihin. gas is really flammable. Oil is flammable, right? It burns. Aqa'awetsa. Yéil ashkawaja. ʼaan yidaqin. Here comes the long answer to your question. So aqa'awe means and then, right? As in the course of storytelling. And then, and then, and then. Aqa'awetsa. And only then. So what we're doing is we're really sequencing here. Like only after he tied that pitch to his nose. Yéil ashkawaja. He instructed him like this. Right? Yéil ashkawaja. That's a verb where you're giving instructions to someone. And you're usually going to say what those specific instructions are afterwards. Yuchan tuch. Through the fire. A'aan yidaqin. Fly through with it. So you could command people to do something with it. And then when you're saying with it, we should already know what it is. Na, achaduska'at, ancha. Here, a fork, eat with it, right? I mean, and so, but for like other sort of examples, usually you're clarifying what is the instrument being used, right? A kayakajate, a on a shawachich, this chair, that's what she or he clubbed him or her with. I don't know, I gotta do some better. I don't know. I gotta start loving with some objects. Anyways.
Wait, can we say it again? Sorry.
Yeah. Yuchan tuch an yidaqin. So the yidaqin, that's the command, fly. Yuchan tuch, you're going to fly through, right? So you could do some word order things. Like you could say yidaqin yuchan tuch an. You could say an yidaqin yuchan tuch. You could say yuchan tuch yidaqin an. It works. They're kind of negotiable.
So the on can go before or after the to.
Mm-hmm. But in this case, usually what Tlingit likes to do is put the most important things first. Through the fire, with it, go fly. So those are the important things. Going through the fire was the most important. Doing it with the pitch was the second most important. And then you're going to fly. That's what you're going to do. Let's see. Atuch takat at du eqatiyan. Atuch is something that we see the old people use, which means like furthermore. It's just a sort of a narrative device, you know. Shtakat at everything. Du eqa, not eqa. Eqa means true. Eqa would mean just the way that they said it. Tiyan, used to, right? Everything used to obey that raven. And this is what you get through those stories. Because they'd be like, hey, let me eat your sandwich. No, let me eat your sandwich. All right. And so that's just how the raven stories kind of work. It's like the Jedi mind trick thing.
Is that is that the same thing?
No. So that's the eqa without the underline. Eqa'at, it's a true thing. Eqaqa, it's a true person, which is the word for warrior. Eqa'awa, it's true, right? I'm telling you the story and you don't believe it. I say eqa'ataya, but eqa means just as that person said it. Tlingit ani, Ya akshayech ayu. Yéil. This world, it was he makes it, that raven. Akshayech, right? He's making it. He's making the world, that raven. So, I don't know, we put it in the past tense in English, but akshayech is, he's doing it right now. Budakin ade. Ashayach. So going back a little bit, so dak wudakin, he flies out to sea, ade, towards it. We already know what it is. It's the fire, right? So Tlingit does lots of this stuff. We've already talked about what the thing is, so now we'll just refer to it as it, and them as she or he, right?
Do you want to mark that instructions for correction? And I'm assuming that these are for the Raven book and that you want.
Yeah, I live typed this, so don't worry about the English. It's better in the Raven book itself.
Oh, okay.
So like we were just translating it, and I would just type it as we were going. So
So
there's
you have a better version of it.
If we find errors in the Tlingit in here, then I'll definitely mark that, and you'll see some that are marked in here already. Okay, and so we see ush. What is the ush thing there?
Sometimes it's a word that goes with verbs that have to do with playing.
Yes, that's one of the ushes, and then there's a second one, which I don't know if we've dealt with yet. So I've given you this pronoun thing, but it doesn't have all the pronouns on there. There's a few of them that are kind of rare, and this is one of them. So ush in Tlingit, especially as an object pronoun, it means that person we've been talking about. So when it's the main character, you'll see it in storytelling a lot. Whenever you see ush, if it's a Raven story, it's probably Raven. 90% chance. Right? So ush is the main person we've been talking about.
I lost the thread of the story. Who
Yes.
gave the Raven
Right.
instructions? The owl?
The owl is doing it.
Oh, the owl.
Right? So the owl, and so this is why the ush is used, because Tlingit doesn't like to keep telling you. It's like, you know who we're talking about. So it says, he's doing it, ush chayach, like that one guy said. Right? So chayach is similar to cheqa, right? So what we see here is the mouth, and that can take the mouth can take suffixes, and they have very specific meaning. So for example, here's some examples of what can happen. So we know that should belong to something, right? Or sorry. Ache, iche, deche, hache, or mouth, right? And so one thing that we'll see is we might put Einach on there. Einach. Through the mouth. We put anything in there that's some sort of ethnicity, that means those people's language. Dekina Einach, Haida language. Dleitcha Einach, white man's language. Or some people, they want to say English Einach or Guski Kwan Einach. Which is fine. And then you could say German, Einach, Norwegian, Einach, any of that, and you're talking about that kind of language. If you're speaking Tlingit. It's not like we have to go change it all now, but then we say Ede. 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 Those of you who have been to Ku'ik, you know this one. This is a pretty powerful statement. To their mouth. Right? So this is a phrase we use to feed our deceased in Tlingit Kusti. And so then it's towards. So you see, it's a mouth towards. Right? Here's another one. Eidach. Eidach.
Haidach.
This could be used in kind of shorthand to say, like, where a name came from, who said the thing, where did you hear that, right? So I could say, "Chone aya achsai, kayat atsu du anikau danuk, ya achkak chedach kuch." My name is Chone. I have another name, which is Duani Kaudanuk, which came from my uncle, Johnny Marks. He's the one who said it. Eight. So when I first heard this one, an elder said, "Ach eitza in hin." I think she was saying, "Give me water to drink. Put water to my mouth." Ach eitza in hin, right? Because I usually heard achjit. So I was just looking at her, and she's like, "Do you know what I'm saying?" I was like, "You want some water?" She's like, "Yeah." And so that was a very direct way. It's like, if you're really thirsty, like, get that to my mouth, right? It's kind of what you're saying. So then, Hina chitza in, bring water to my mouth.
My grandma used to say that.
Yep. So just a very direct way to say it. So then we see a couple others in this story. So we have ʼeqa, which is the same thing. Qa could mean to go after, right? Like you're following the mouth. And so it usually means to obey. And then chayach, like the way they said it. They're similar, but they're slightly different. To obey, but then, for example, why are you cutting your fish like that? I did it just like my uncle told me to. So so that's what the chayach means. So when they say ash chayach, the way that raven told him to. Okay. Dushu de kachat witeis. Dushu de kachat witeis. That sapwood is attached to his beak. Gwashkach yedakde. Awe aksachat. So gwash is maybe, kach is really, akde, awe aksachat. So there's some really interesting things with directions here. We talked about these a little bit, right? So if you stand on the shore of the ocean, and if you go dak day, you're going out to sea. And if you go dak day, you're going up to the mainland. But in the Tlingit brain, you stand there looking out to the ocean. Because if I say dak tsak ishut, means stick your tongue out. So this is dak. Dak jishitsu, stick your arms out. Dak jishitsu, bring your arms back. So this is dak, this is dak. And then to go behind yourself is kuch. So there's some really cool things here. Out to sea, towards the mainland, to return. That's how those things work in the Tlingit brain. And so you'll see examples like this when they say, maybe he attached it too close to his face, not far enough. So if I had a beak, this would be dak towards my face. This would be dak away from my body. Right? So it's very cool how this stuff works. Really right close to his eye or eyes, right? And it gets a little tricky. There's these stories where a raven takes his eyes out, but they'll just say duwak. And I was translating it as eye. And they're like, it's eyes. It's like, oh, okay. Gotcha. Gashtudaya adatin. So gashtu is a pocket. Gashtut is in the pocket. Aya adatin. Adatin is he did it. He put that thing there. Yanaqshlu. Octopus's beak that has been taken off, or else it would be naqshlu. Yakakchantgut. He goes to the owl. Ha! Hada! Ade dakidaqin. Fly out there towards it. Right? So we see the directionals are doing multiple things here. Ade, towards it. Dak, out to sea. Itaqin. Go do that. Right? He's commanding him to go do that. Achuni. Of course he says friend, in-law, partner. Whenever he's using these terms, well, it's just time to do what he says. Achuni chadideshe. There's that achit techat thing. Yuchan de dak idekin. I get consistent with my tone. That's one thing I got to go look at with these. We're almost there. Okay. Okay, here we go. Keshke ade. Achchiyis. Yan'a. Yaqisiyeqiyeh. Yuchan. So nobody talks like this except for Raven, right? Because what he's doing, there's this phrase, Kesh ade yaqisiyeyeh, or yaqisiyeyeh. You can't bring it. You can't bring it. But then he puts the question marker in there. Is there no way that you can bring that to me? Like grammatically, there's some fantastic stuff going on. And it's really fun to translate that. Because that's really what he's saying. Is there really no way you can bring that to me? This is how he gets you. This is how it works. You watch the Raven stories, like he'll ask. And once he asks it with this really unusual way, so like, this shows me if you really learn Tlingit grammar, all that good stuff's going to happen. That's what I think. Plague. Kesh adeh. Achluuqua adachkukakan. So there are certain things like to burn, and when you put ach or dach in front of it, it means to burn off, cut off, break off, all of those things. You could put adach or ach, because it can contract to ach, and that would mean to off of that thing, right? And there, he does it right there. Achshu ach kukakan. That's the owl. So Raven says, Yéil ah. Ah ye kakwa'u. We ishu wu ite. Kakwa'u with the high tone marker. So he says, Yéil ah, a good one, right? A good one. And this ah, that's another pronoun. It means some of them or one of them. Depends how it's being used. Ah ye kakwa'u. I'm going to use it there. I'm going to put it there, right? Where your nose used to be, right? Here he's like, yeah, your nose will burn off, but I'll put a new one there. A better, it's going to be way better. So a means it's going to get better. And then yanach means more. This will be more better than before. Right? The one I put on your nose, the nose I give you. Yanawe. Ayakawaka. Yakaku. This Raven book is the only place we've seen this verb, ayakawaka, to talk somebody into doing something. Only place we've seen it. Yéil. Achawe yeyawaka. Achawe because of that, or that is why, either one. So again, as you're using Tlingit to string things together, achawe because of that, that is why. Yeyawaka, that's he or she said this thing. Yak-a. Yak-a. Kakkwa'ak. This is the owl, right? I'll try. Adedak khotakini. Fly out to shore, fly out to sea towards it. Achawe atdaqinawe. So he takes off from here, or from there, right? Ausyeqwe khan yande. So he brings that fire towards the shore. Deshluwu dak nagan. It's burning back. It's burning. His nose is burning back. His nose is burning back. Awe. Kesh ade adan qoneye. He couldn't do anything about it. There was nothing he could do about it. It's probably the owl, right? Ye adene is where this verb is coming from. So you go from ye adene to kesh ade adan qoneye. It gets really long, but later you'll learn how to put those things together and define them. Agawik dekach. Maybe he's crying out. Anawe yandakin. With it, he's flying. Right? Idu ayachwan. Have courage. You awe adayaka. This is what he's saying. This is how he's saying this exact thing to him. Ayach awulcheyuk. He's encouraging him. Oh, and he's doing it repeatedly. And here's your words of encouragement. I love this. So you can say everything hurts. Everything is painful. Ayayanhan. Just have to stay standing. It's your pre-finals week inspiration. Yan an ayawadlaq. So yan to the shore, on with it, ayawadlaq. The verb is saying she or he succeeded. This could also mean she or he defeated him or her, but they obtained it, they succeeded to the shore with it. Yéil chinach yan ayasayeq awe. So that Raven could have it. He brings it. Ya'as ichude awe. Ah. So ya'as ichude, among those trees, awe, some of it. Uwashit. So this as an object pronoun means some of it. So I brought some money. Chwashit. I threw some of it. Right? So this is a verb to throw something with such force that it scatters. Like feathers or something you throw, like water, and it's going to just scatter like that. Okay. Hayawas echu deitsu uwashit. He threw some of it among the bushes. Hayateu deitsu uwashit. And he threw some of it among the rocks. Wechan. Achaya ya'as shoot to the ark. Because of this, the trees shoot to the ark. We use them to make fire. So this is a verb which means to build a fire. Right?
Why are trees pluralized 2 lines up but not in this one?
They tend to go back and forth. And so it's a good question because as you look through this, the same thing with the bushes and the same thing with the rocks. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. ʼaan atuye wuti. Fire. It's inside. It was there, right? Akagan. Burns there. Kayawas. Yatetsu. On atuwu. So this one, atuwu. So it goes up and down instead of down and up, like achtuwu. And so that means to be located inside of it. Atuwu. The fire is inside of it. This is the same, this is another one of those suffixes like day and dach and ti. And this one means to be at a place. This is yadu, wedu, neshu, gusu. It's that same suffix. Whooshed with the qadi. When they strike each other, when they fall against each other.
We made it go up.
Yikla ayeyu yanik. Sparks happen there. E adeyati yashkashnik. That is how this story is. Oh. Woosh ke uwagan, they burn together. Weyu shukuwati we kakua. That owl used to have he had a long nose, like this yi, it used to be. Itit awakuk. He poked it in there, where it used to be. The octopus nose. That's why an owl and an octopus have the same beak. Isaku yidat. All right, better take 5. Short break.
Roll the dough.
Right.
Bread filling.
Hey. Johan. So Ashke had sent some Christmas songs, so I think we'll go over those on Thursday. I don't know if I recorded this class. Oh, I thought I did. Anyway, so we'll start this kinship chapter, and then we'll move into motion verbs, and then we're just getting into verb land. So when we start again next semester, it's going to be kind of a lot more of the same, but just really trying to understand these things, go into the stories and other places for specific examples of what we're learning. Here's another dialogue exercise. So person A and person B, and we'll just reenact it all together. Kaudagwash. Something is pounding or knocking or ringing. Koch, koch, koch. That's the sound effect that we were taught for somebody knocking on a door. Neshka. So this is come in. You can only say this if you are already in that space. Come into this space where I am. And nesh is a directional, to come into a space. Right? Adusawe. Who is that? Khataya. It's me. Achtachunk. Yes, my grandchild. Yahutin. So here's the klesh we see is like to not. There's you as the object. Ya. This is a thematic in a verb. The vertical surface or the face. This is the cha for me. Utin. So there's a number of different things that we've got going on here. Really what we've got is this other sort of thing. So what we kind of keep talking about here is Tlingit verbal structure, right? So you have a thematic prefix, which is a small prefix built into a verb that has meaning. Ya is the face or a vertical surface of something. Ka is the horizontal surface. We're going to keep seeing a bunch of these, and we're going to learn the most common ones. Sha is a head. Sh is the end of something, right? And so we'll learn a bunch of these. For now, we see one here. Ya, iya, your face. And then we have cha, which is the subject. In the conjugation, there's something in this verb we call the irialis. It's the letter U. And what it means is it's the verb has not happened. The verb has not happened. That's what it means. Most of the time when you have an irialis, but especially if you have klesh, the classifier will always be minus I. Because the classifier also signals whether or not the verb has happened. You have kind of both of those things, because you can have a case where you have an irialis but a plus I classifier. And usually that's when you're comparing something. You say, Yéil kuge, it's this big. And you're going to get that long oo in there from that irialis. But that's why you got this oo right here. With the cha, there's kind of an unusual thing where the perfective marker or the irialis, these conjugation things, jump over the subject. And so you end up with chu. Utin. Literally, I didn't see your face. I didn't recognize you. Right? Yakehat yigudi. Yakehat yigudi. Yake, it's good. Hot, to this place around us. Yigudi, you came, right? So this is how you start tying things together. Yakehat yigudi, it's good you came here. Wasaway. Literally means how is that, but it's kind of just a casual way to say what's going on. And it depends on the context, right? So for example, I could say wasa yeti or wasa shti danuk. And you said kachat ushke. I'm doing terrible. Wasa way, like what's going on, right? So, was away. But in this case, it's just like, what's happening? Achla jit. Utchi aya. Hat chosein. So there's a bunch of stuff going on in this sentence. Achla, my mother. Jit. Jit is a contraction of jidach. Right, so this dach, which is from, it will contract. If it attaches to a vowel, sometimes it'll just become tx. Right, that vowel inside it will sometimes just disappear, reverting that end back to a t. Right? So from my mother, right? So this is like if I'm giving you something, I could say itchy yes, but then I don't want to take the credit because you'll find out, right? Achoni jidach. This is from my friend. Ach ish jidach. This is from my dad for you, right? Then we have utche, boiled fish. That's not chowder. Had chosein. So the other thing we're going to do next semester is learn a bunch of handling verbs. So to say, like, to carry something, there's about 14 different verbs, and it depends on the type of thing you're carrying. This is carrying a container with contents, because it can spill. So I got a pot of soup. I got a cup of coffee. I got a basket full of berries. Those would all be chosein, right? And so, and all the carrying verbs are motion verbs. So we're going to learn about motion verbs as well. They're different than the other verbs, and we're going to get into the reasons why. But for now, hat yigut would be you came here. Hat chosein, I carried this thing here. Okay, that's what it's communicating. Achadi. Oh wow, oh my, oh dear. However we want to look at that. Gudach atsawe. Where is that thing from? Right? So gudach sawe. Where is it from? So with these, the where one, so you could say gudesa, gudachsa, gutsa, gusu, guchsa. And so you'll see these, and then whatever the suffix is on there, that's usually where you're gonna get a dach on there as well, right? So where did this come from? So then you should say it's from something, right? But in this case, you're gonna get a little bit of just explanation. Astechuchuch. Achish. Ziyak. Utat. So aster is fishing. Wukuch, she or he went by boat. So there's a bunch of things. You could put like aster is also a verb, but it can be treated as a noun. So you could say aster wukuch. He or she went dancing. Yejene wukuch. He or she went to work. So there are verbs that can be used to say they went to go do that thing, right? And then the wukuch is to go by boat or car. Ach ish, my father. Zayak, a little while ago. Tsutat. Now usually there's a T on there, but I took these dialogues straight from beginning Tlingit. I didn't want to try to alter them too much. Gunachish ho ho. Thank you very much. Ijiyis. Ye atnaqasaneyi. So this is a hortative verb. And we're going to learn how to we'll learn some basics about them. Our focus is really going to be on a set of verbs that we probably use the most. Do it. Don't do it. Doing it, or it's happening. Not doing it, not happening. in the process of doing it sometimes. Did it, happened. Didn't do it, didn't happen. Will do it, will happen. Won't do it, won't happen. Those are the ones we're going to focus on. There's a bunch of other ones, and later in the semester I'll show you how to make those. There's all these charts, and there's certain things, there's like switches you turn to make these things go. But I think we'll focus on them later, and we just want to master these first sort of modes. We call them modes. In other languages, they call them tenses or things like that. But in this case, iji yes, for you. Ye atnaqasane ye, let me do it. So this one, it's a pretty long verb, but we hear it in the perfective as ye ausane, or we'll hear it as ye nasne, the command form. It's a very powerful verb. This is the do it verb, the Nike commercial verb, right? And it can mean all kinds of things. And you could just say this, the context gives it meaning. So if I have talking to my kid, iti yan yesene, go fix your room up. Go clean it up. When nadak yan yesene, get the table ready. Right? Hina tina khatiti. I need water. Hey hat khasin. Hey, located here. Hat khasin. Here, I brought it here. Gonna chi shik. This is the little cutie marker used especially for kids or loved ones. Gusu ikla. Where's your mother? Ne shehu. She's at home. So this is a different nesh than that neshgu. There's two of them. And you just get it. One means home, and one means a directional to come inside of a building, if you're already inside. Okay. Gusu ikik. So kik is a younger sibling of the same gender. So a female has younger sisters, a male has younger brothers. This is something we're going to learn about Tlingit kinship. This is the area where gender does matter. Skunahu. At school. Kakwagut day. So kakwagut is a future form for I am going to go. So day just means right now. So you could say hundakahitite kakwagut. Exact same verb. I'm going to go to the store. Neshte kakwagut. I'm going home. Shkakwete kakwagut. I'm going to walk to Skagway. So echande kakwagut sekank. So there's a couple of things to get from this example. So su, low tone, is again. So it's going to happen again. Ichande, next to you, to be with you. So chande is the one you use to say to go visit, to go be with, right? So again, we don't put suffixes onto pronouns. You don't say ide kakwagut, because one, it just doesn't work in Tlingit. Two, if it did, it sounds like you're going to just run into somebody. Chan is right next to a person.
Would you only say this to someone you're really close with, like your family or anybody?
Anybody you're going to visit with. But chana comes from chan. So if you keep going around them, you're going to end up dealing with them. So says the grammar. Kakwagut, future. Sekank. So the other thing is when we use time markers, like tak, winter, tak ite, spring, tatge, sekan, yayagi. If we're using the time marker to say that's when that thing will happen, we'll put the suffix on there, right? So they'll say tak in the winter, Lazy man will starve. Lazy person. Satini. Tsu Kwan. So here's the tsu again. Hagu, come here. So hagu is the same thing as the hot that we were seeing up here. Ha is this area around us, right? Hagu, come over to this space around here. And then the kwan is kind of, so this is a command. It should have an exclamation point. Maybe I'll fix that at some point. So hagu kwan. And then the kwan just says, it's sort of like may you, lest you. It just softens it a little bit. But it's fun raising kids without trying, just really trying not to translate for them all the time. And the first time I used kwan, maybe I told you guys this with my daughter, I said something like, "Achitsa in hin kwan." And she said, "I'm not a boot." It's also a boot. It's a different kwan. Goodness cheese. So we're going to get into some kinship terms, but we only got a minute left, so any last minutes?
So can you use kwan with any verb? Just on
Mostly commands.
command verb?
Yeah. But it's not the same as please, because please we use to just sort of be polite. So it is kind of being, it's just to really soften it up a little bit, but I wouldn't overdo it. Like don't use kwan all the time now and think that you're being really polite. You're probably just, it's not, there's these things in Tlingit like, you'd say, achchia kadach, and that means get out of my way. But maybe you're just standing there and I'm trying to get by. It's not a mean thing to say. Because if I said it in English, get out of my way, right? It's kind of maybe to my siblings or something. But those were some things, because we were saying all the time, which means forgive me. Would say it when we were using it like excuse me in English, which is like, I'm near you. I'm trying to get by here. You're in my way. I farted. And all this, it's used for so many different things, right? But is like, forgive me because you've done something.
You said shugunach is before,
Shugunach is at the beginning,
at the beginning.
in the beginning.
And you could also say dakihidi shugu, meaning end of the building.
Shuwu,
Shugu.
yeah.
Okay.
But ends of buildings and backs of buildings, those get they're a little more complicated. On the outside, I think that would be fine. But like day shu, end of the trail. But they're probably related. But shu gunach would be like in the beginning of a thing.
Are you saying this is used to mean like please, or is there?
Kwan?
Yeah.
It's not like please.
Yeah, like I guess if you feel like you're being too bossy, throw it in there.
Is there actually a word like in
I don't
French
think-
they say s'il vous plaît, and in English they say please?
I don't think we have, I don't know if it's a direct equivalent. You'll see it just pop up, but most of the time we don't use commands a whole lot. But when we do, we just do it. So like when we're speaking, and I tell my kids, I was like, just speak Tlingit, you don't have to say please. Because, but it's a lot of it is just the tone. And as you learn a kinship structure, you'll learn that a lot of your commands can't go up very much. Like you don't tell grandma to go clean her room, right? But you tell the kids to go clean their room.
Well, one of the teachers even commented in all the commands. She said that wasn't even appropriate for teaching kids.
Yeah, because
That was a other teacher who commented on that.
in the 2000s, TPR came in, which is total physical response. So it's like, I'll tell everybody to stand up and then sit down and then point at the light and touch your nose and I do the thing and then you do the thing. And it was pretty effective at getting people to use the language. But the elders that we were working with said, well, we don't talk to people like that. And they said, and the command form is really different than the other forms of the verb. So I don't have any problem with TPR. I think it's fine for starting things, but some folks have tried to use TPR as a way to measure fluency, and I was like, no, because, okay, so they know how to say touch the table and put your hand in the sky. I'm like, what does that even, can't we just communicate? Right? Yeah, and it's like, okay, you could be crazy with the language, but then if you just looked outside, you said, tell me what's going on. You're like, oh, I don't know. I just know how to boss things around. So,
Do you have an example of one word in both the plus I and minus I forms? Do you have an example of what a plus I does?
well, so a plus I and a minus I. So we could look at this verb, just any verb. So if it's going to be in the positive perfective, it's going to be plus I. So it's really only in the positive perfective. What we see in the positive perfective and the imperfective for state verbs. Yak-a. There it is, ya. That ya is the plus I version of the classifier.
Okay.
Kesh-uk-e. It's not good. So any of the negatives will push it. I like to say the default is minus I, and you activate the plus I when it has happened, because that's what you're marking. And we'll look at some other examples of that. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, maybe. Okay. So there's a question. Maybe next semester, instead of taking a break, we'll just end early and skip the break and just go until 7:10 or 7:15. So we'll see how folks feel about that. And then next week is presentations. So if you're gonna you can either recite your list of memorized words, or you can just do some sort of language presentation. Whichever you choose, I'm going to be fine with. As long as there's a lot of Tlingit in there somehow, you're doing what you feel is your best, I am totally fine with that. We've done a lot, we've covered a lot, we'll continue to cover a lot. I just like these opportunities for you to stand up in front of the gang, show us what you know. I generally don't record these sessions, and I won't record them next week when we get together. So it'll be just for the folks that are here. But in the past, I've recorded them before for folks who couldn't attend for whatever reason. So I guess we'll talk about that on Thursday. We'll see how everybody's feeling. But whatever you do, it's going to be great. Sheesh.
Stage.
Okay.